My best friend from kindergarten is still one of my best friends.
That's crazy.
Right? Stacey Johnson.
Yeah, that's dope. I love it.
We used to go to the clubs and her father Seville.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I can't. With the accent, we used to go to the clubs. Joining me now, my friend Eric Bolling, host of the show Bolling. It launched. You can check it out, youtube.com/@EricBolling. Eric, the accent thing murders me, man. The California Valley girl when she's not living in a ritzy neighborhood in Montreal, but man, when she wants to hood it up a little bit, she's got it in there.
Middle class Kamala, right, Jesse? And you're right. That boy, she laid it on thick there. It reminds me of when Hillary she went to Charlemagne the God's podcast and she had a bag. She's like, "Oh, check my bag. I happen to have hot sauce in there." What the pandering is absolutely ridiculous and disgusting. But listen, Kamala, she's got to do something. I mean, you look at the electoral map right now, Jesse. I mean, it's in Trump's favor. I never pay attention to national polls. You look at state to state, but she's behind. I know the New York Times, Siena poll is going to tell you that she's ahead in some of the 5 of the 7 swing states. I don't believe any of that. The electoral map looks really bad for her. So she's really got to come out stronger than she's doing right now.
Okay, why? I know the reasons I don't like Kamala Harris, and I probably can assume some of the reasons you don't, but we're not the normies, the undecided swing voters who decide elections. Why is she struggling, Eric? What is it?
She's had no policy, Jesse. But here's the thing. So she goes to the border a couple days ago and says, "I'm going to fix the border. I'm going to do this, that." What the hell? You're where the borders are. Stop. You weren't the border. You're where the borders are. Thank God NBC and Lester Holt called her out. Wait, we didn't go to the border, but yeah, I didn't go to Europe either. She was the border. Everyone knew her as the person who Joe Biden said you're going to handle the issue at the border. And she did exactly what she was supposed to do. She did exactly what the Democrats wanted her to do. Do nothing. Allow people to come in. Because you hear what she said. When she did finally go to the border, when she realized that the border could cost her presidency, potential White House, she said that I'm going to fix it, but also we're going to look to do mass amnesty. I mean, can you imagine 20 million illegals here with a path to citizenship? It's over. There will never be another nationally elected Republican in America. Forget president, forget vice president. You may still have states like Texas and Florida here, the freest state in the union, voting for senators and Congress people, Republicans, but on a national level, we've lost it completely the minute that happens. So that's the plan. That's why she hasn't done anything for 3.5 years. Becomes president, she offers amnesty, and it's over.
So the American people, are they catching on to that? It's obvious to anyone paying attention, people like, Democrats, they got elected and opened it up on purpose to do exactly what you just said, bring in 20 million new voters, hand them citizenship, and boom, if you're a Democrat, you can run a moron like Kamala Harris and win the presidency. But the question is, are the American people on to this enough and they're going to go vote against it or not?
The other, besides the swing state breakdown of how you win the presidency in America, there's 7 states that dictate who's the next president. Besides that, there's another metric that you can look at because one can't override the other. And the other one is demographics, the racial demographics in America. So if a Republican were to get 15%, I think is the threshold of the black vote, he's likely going to win. He or she's likely going to win. If a Republican hit a 40% of Hispanics, you're going to win. Hispanics outnumber African Americans by almost double. The Hispanic vote that you'll see in Pew Research and whatnot, they have it around 35, 36% for Trump. The number's way north of that. The reality is it's probably approaching 50. So I think with the Hispanic vote, I actually think the Hispanic vote is going to push the presidency to Trump. And it won't really matter what's going on in the swing states. I think that'll take care of itself with this number of Hispanics that are moving out to the Trump train. And my point is this. Hispanics are pissed off about the border. American Hispanics, people who've lived here, who've gone through the process or who were born here who are Hispanic, hate the fact that there are people jumping the border without doing any of the things that they've had to do, or weren't born here. It's going to be a huge issue for Hispanics. I think if he gets 43, 45%, he wins.
Yeah, no, I see this in my own life with a lot of Latino friends I have. They tell me about family members who were Dem that are now independent, putting up Trump signs. And I tell you, on top of the border stuff, Eric, I get a lot of culture war stuff from those people. They are not down with the newest tranny flag, with all the new craziness that it really chafed on a group of people Democrats were banking on for a very long time.
100%. Latin American value systems almost line up more with the traditional American values. They're greatly Christian. They're not for the new woke nonsense of transgenderism. They're not for any of those things, and I think that's what is one of the reasons. But also because Donald Trump has proven to them, I mean, let's be honest, that Trump economic policies benefited Hispanics and blacks more than anything Joe Biden has done or could do. For whatever reason, the Democrats want to claim there are voters, but it doesn't. If you really break it down, blacks and Hispanics did much better under Donald Trump, certainly than they're doing under Joe Biden. That's a fact. And so the fact that Kamala Harris has no real policy, Jesse, there's a soundbite from about a month ago where Kamala Harris, I can't remember, a local Pennsylvania local reporter asked her, how are you going to fix the inflation issue? She was lost in the woods. She couldn't eat. This is 2 months into her, running for president. She had nothing. It was an airball. And I think people realize that. People who care about the economy, which is obviously probably the number one issue in America for a voter, realize that she has no idea what she's talking about. So it will be up to her advisors to give her policy. And you have this, who are they? What are they? What are they about? We know what they've been about. They've been about taxing you more, giving away free housing to illegals, giving away, forgiving student loan debt, going around the Supreme Court. Supreme Court says no. Joe Biden says, oh, but yes, executive order. I think people who care about the economy are going to realize that she's not the person to lead the most powerful economic engine on the planet.
Yeah, I think everybody voting needs to ask themselves, do they want this human being here to lead the economy next?
What is your economic plan moving forward for people who are living paycheck to paycheck and struggling for groceries and rent and homeowners?
So, look, I grew up, so my sister and I were raised by our mother. We lived for a long time in an apartment on top of a child care center. I, from a child, knew who our small business owners are, right? I mean, you're business leaders, but you're also civic leaders. You take seriously your voice and how you can mentor, how you can grow, right? Communities and the sense of communities. I love our small businesses. So a lot of my work, even in the Senate, was about increasing access to capital through our small businesses, and in particular through our community banks. Mm-hmm. So I've been responsible for billions of dollars more now going into our community banks, because they're in the community and then they know who's in the community and where the talent is and who's doing good in the community, what the community wants. Mm-hmm.
Generally, she's not wrong about that, but the problem is her policy doesn't do that. What she said was, I want to start 25 million more new housing units going forward. Well, how are you going to do that, Madam Kamala? Well, the only way you do that is by using the federal coffers, the bank account, to pay people to go do that. What does that do? That drives up inflation. Well, anytime government spends billions, hundreds of billions of dollars to do what she wants to do, inflation is going to go higher, and also you're messing with the housing market, because who's going to get those houses? Okay, low-income people are going to get the houses. What does that mean for the rest of the food? Does that mean everything else gets ratcheted down price-wise? So if you own your house, you've owned it, you paid your mortgage for 20, 25, 30 years, the value of a house is going to go down because Kamala Harris wants the government to give away free housing to people, those would-be renters or buyers of homes, that all the way up the chain. It's incredible. It's socialism. It's socialism if you really break it down to what she said. We want to start 25 million new homes. No one's ever asked, how are you going to do that? How are you going to do that? And by the way, who's going to do that? 25 million new homes? You know how much you're going to drive the price of construction labor up? So it's going to cost more to build your own home. And your own home, once it's built, it's going to be worth less. You just got to hold her accountable to what her own words are. Because she doesn't even know the words that she's speaking, what the effect on the economy really will be.